What's up guys, Jeremy here from RC Nightmare sharing my final review of the Team Durango DEX210 Race RTR kit. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Team Durango, I mean they've been really more on the scene in terms of racing, but now they've come out with a ready to run kit, and so I decided I'd give it a review. I'm not a kit guy. I would consider myself a casual racer, so the prospect of getting a casual or an RTR that is almost kind of further almost ready to race was really appealing. Price point is right around 400 bucks. Comes with basically everything you need to go. 2.4 gigahertz remote, which worked totally fine. All you need to really do is add your own battery, and you're basically ready to rock. Comes with the Speed Passions ESC and brushless motor, and the front steering servo is serviceable. Also comes with aluminum big bore shocks, which is a kind of race upgrade. And so let's get right to it. So I've already covered price, so durability. You know, this one, as you can see, it's in fairly good shape because, well, it's mostly on the track. As with any race buggy, A-arms are always an issue. You know, kind of as rocks fall out of it. That was a big negative for me in terms of bashing. But you know, you have a plastic chassis and all that stuff. So in my runs with it, I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any shock caps popping off. Obviously, they're aluminum big bore or fat shocks, as they would say. But overall durability seemed pretty good. I would give it a 4 out of 5 just because most 10 scale, you know, 1/10 scale buggies, they're not 8 scale buggies, so stuff's gonna break. But I didn't run anything major. In terms of bashability, I'm gonna give it a 2. Maybe even a 1.75 out of 5. You know, if your chosen bashing spot is in smooth dirt and or on concrete, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this kit. But if you've got grass or rocky terrain, you're gonna have headaches. I very often had rocks getting caught inside the wheel wells here, locking up the wheels. It just didn't love it, and you know, there's really no surprise there. The other thing, you know, really with bashability, popping in and out of batteries is always a big deal. And while I loved the security of this battery bay in terms of a race standpoint, I hated it for bashing because it took forever to take it off. And, you know, if you're a basher, you're swapping in and out batteries, you know, you're just having fun, and that can get annoying. It's a small thing, I know. The tires are pretty weak for bashing, I think. In limited run, the fronts are actually pretty worn already. The rears held up fine, but if you were going to race, you would, or bash really, new set of tires is generally kind of status quo. In terms of raceability, this is where this kit really shined. If you're a guy like me who likes the idea of racing, but you know, you don't have all the time to put together a kit, or you know you buy a kit, you're going to buy the big bore shock upgrades. You're going to do the things that make it more race worthy. This kit, I think, does a great job given its price point. I mean, yes, it's pricey at a $400 price mark, but you're going to have a kit here that you can basically throw it on the track and compete, depending on obviously your driving skill. But I felt like this really held up well on light dirt. Handled extremely well. I didn't have any immediate problems with the steering servo or power. You know, if you get really into racing, sure, maybe you want to upgrade the steering servo or something like that eventually, or put a different power system in there. But if you're thinking about doing both of those things, I recommend getting the kit, because you're talking about, you know, $225 in upgrades on a $400 kit. So if you're more like me and you're kind of into racing, but you don't have time to tweak your kit all the time, this is going to be basically a 4.5 out of 5 for raceability. The only thing holding it back is, you know, these tires you just upgrade. So 40 bucks later, you're ready to go. Had the tires been perfect for racing right out of the box, it probably would have gotten a 5 out of 5 or very close to a 5 out of 5. So if you're looking to race, but you don't have a ton of time to tweak your kit and do upgrades, it's a great option for you. Then in terms of value, again, the $400 price mark is going to turn a few people off, but when you think about it, even if you buy a kit for $2.5, big bore shocks, that's 80 bucks. You know, motor and ESC, 100 bucks. So there's 180 right on top. Now you're at 400 bucks, and you still have to build it. So I think value-wise, it's a great. I mean, I can't see it would 20, 30, 40 bucks one way or another changed my opinion. Maybe if it was $350, I would say, holy crap, this is ridiculously awesome. But even at the $400 price point, it's a great value. It's a well-made kit. Fun factor, for me, I'm probably about 80-20 bashing to racing. So I give it a 3 out of 5. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. I'm just not a huge 1/10 scale buggy guy. So take that rating kind of with a grain of salt. I think on the track, if I only had 1 or 2 nights a week to get down with RC, you know, this would be great. Throw it in the back of the truck, go, charge up my battery, and go race and have fun. Would I buy it again? If I was racing 1/10 scale buggy, which I'm not this winter, I would absolutely buy it again. To me, you know, it's a great kit. I don't have to really fart around with anything. I mean, it's just a nice RTR kit. It's got one of the coolest like paint schemes that you're gonna get in an RTR. So if you're into racing, whether it be, you know, if you're a competitive guy like me, but you don't have a ton of time to race, this is a perfect RTR for you. If you're looking for something that you want to wrench on and tweak on, I still recommend getting a kit. Now, that doesn't preclude this exact same buggy as a kit. I just haven't reviewed the kit, so I can't make a recommendation one way or another. It's a safe buy for racing. You're going to compete. You're going to be happy with it. Speed Passions makes great stuff. I'm glad to see it's not just some kind of no-name ESC and motor in there. And depending on your class, though, so if you're going to race in a stock class or a modified class, if you're going to race a modified, maybe you want to think about still getting the kit because, again, if you're paying for a motor in ESC, make sure it matches the class that you want to race in. Otherwise, you're just wasting it. So that's my review of the Team Durango DEX210. I'd love to hear from you down below in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure you crush that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed this kit. And we'll talk to you real soon.